100 grand, that's a lot of cash. Imagine holding that much money in your hands, feeling the weight of it, the possibilities it brings. Enough to clear debts, maybe buy a house, start a new life. It could be the answer to so many problems, a fresh start, a chance to breathe easy. Picture yourself handing over the keys to a new home, or finally paying off those student loans that have been hanging over your head for years. The relief, the joy, the freedom. But what if getting that money meant giving up a part of yourself? What if the price of that new life was a piece of your own body? Would you sell a kidney for $100,000? It's a question that forces you to weigh your financial desperation against your health and well-being. It's a question more people are facing than you might think. In a world where medical costs are skyrocketing and economic inequality is growing, the idea of selling an organ can become a grim reality. This isn't some dystopian sci-fi plot, it's the reality of the organ trade, a shadowy world operating just beneath the surface. A world where desperation meets opportunity, often with dire consequences. Before you answer, let's dive into this complex issue. It's not just about the money, it's about ethics, health, and the very essence of what it means to be human. We'll explore the ethical quagmire, the health risks, and the real stories of those who face this very dilemma. We'll hear from doctors, patients, and those who have made the choice to sell a part of themselves. Get ready, because things are about to get heavy. This journey will take us through the darkest corners of human desperation and the brightest sparks of hope. Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind the price of a kidney. The demand for kidneys is sky-high. Across the globe, hundreds of thousands of people languish on waiting lists, hoping for a life-saving transplant. This demand creates a market, and where there's a market, there's money to be made. Enter the black market organ trade, a murky underworld where desperation meets exploitation. In some corners of the world, kidneys are bought and sold like used cars, often with little regard for the well-being of those involved. This illegal trade preys on the vulnerable, offering a lifeline to the wealthy at the expense of the poor and desperate. Selling a kidney throws up a whole host of ethical dilemmas. Is it ever okay to commodify a part of your body? What about the power imbalance between wealthy buyers and those driven to sell out of desperation? Critics argue that it reduces the human body to a collection of spare parts, eroding the very notion of human dignity. The argument against often boils down to this: should life-saving healthcare be accessible only to those who can afford to buy it? It's a question that cuts to the heart of social justice and healthcare inequality. Let's be clear, living with one kidney is not a walk in the park. While most people can live healthy lives with a single kidney, the surgery and recovery carry significant risks. There's also the increased risk of complications later in life, like kidney disease or hypertension. Donors often downplay or are unaware of these risks. The long-term impacts on their health and ability to work can be severe, trapping them in a vicious cycle of poverty and ill health. Section 5. Stories from the kidney trade, desperation, and hope. The decision to sell a kidney is rarely made lightly. It is a choice that comes with immense emotional and physical burdens. For many, it is a decision born out of sheer necessity, a desperate attempt to escape the clutches of poverty or to provide for loved ones in dire circumstances. The weight of this decision is often compounded by the lack of viable alternatives, leaving individuals feeling trapped and cornered. It's often a last resort, born out of desperation and fueled by the hope of a better life. The hope that selling a kidney will bring financial relief, that it will open doors to opportunities otherwise out of reach. This hope, however, is often mingled with fear and uncertainty. The fear of the unknown, the fear of potential health complications, and the fear of societal stigma. Yet, in the face of overwhelming adversity, hope becomes a powerful motivator, driving individuals to take risks they would otherwise avoid. Take the story of Rajesh, a farmer in India who sold a kidney to pay off his debts. Rajesh's story is one of many that highlight the harsh realities faced by those in the kidney trade. He was drowning in debt, with no foreseeable way out. The pressure from creditors was relentless, and the fear of losing his land and livelihood loomed large. In a moment of desperation, he made the heart-wrenching decision to sell his kidney, hoping it would provide the financial relief he so desperately needed. He thought he was escaping a life of poverty, but instead found himself struggling with chronic pain and unable to work the fields. The surgery left him with lasting health issues, and the money he received was quickly consumed by his debts. Rajesh's dream of a better life turned into a nightmare, as he found himself in a worse situation than before. His story is a poignant reminder of the physical and emotional toll that selling a kidney can take. Or Maria, a single mother in the Philippines, who sold a kidney to pay for her child's education. Maria's story is equally heart-wrenching. As a single mother, she faced immense pressure to provide for her child and ensure a better future. The cost of education was beyond her means, and she saw no other way to secure her child's future. In a moment of desperation, she decided to sell her kidney, hoping it would give her child the opportunities she never had. She dreamed of giving her child a brighter future, but now faces a future of her own riddled with health problems. The surgery left her with chronic health issues, and the financial relief was short-lived. Maria's sacrifice, made out of love and hope, resulted in a lifetime of health complications and financial instability. Her story underscores the harsh reality that the promise of a better life through selling a kidney is often an illusion. These are just two stories among countless others, each a stark reminder of the human cost of this trade. The kidney trade is a complex and multifaceted issue, with deep-rooted social, economic, and ethical implications. It is a reflection of the broader systemic issues that drive individuals to such desperate measures. As we hear these stories, we are reminded of the need for comprehensive solutions that address the root causes of poverty and inequality, and provide viable alternatives for those in need. Only then can we hope to alleviate the desperation that drives individuals to sell a part of themselves in the pursuit of a better life. Section 6. A divided debate. Voices from both sides. The debate over kidney selling is as polarized as it gets. On one hand, you have advocates who argue that allowing the sale of kidneys could save countless lives. They believe that a regulated market could provide a safe and ethical way for individuals to sell their organs, ensuring that both donors and recipients are protected. This side often points to the severe shortage of available organs and the long waiting lists that leave many patients in dire need. They argue that by legalizing the sale of kidneys, we could significantly reduce these waiting times and save lives. On one side are those who believe that individuals should have the right to do what they want with their bodies. They see it as a matter of personal freedom and bodily autonomy. For them, the decision to sell a kidney is a personal one, and they argue that the government should not interfere with an individual's right to make choices about their own body. They also believe that a regulated market could provide financial benefits to donors, many of whom may be in desperate need of money. They argue that legalizing and regulating the market could help to ensure the safety of both donors and recipients. By having strict regulations and oversight, they believe that the risks associated with organ selling could be minimized. This could include thorough medical screenings, proper post-operative care, and fair compensation for donors. They also point out that illegal organ trade is already a reality, and that a regulated market could help to eliminate the black market and its associated dangers. On the other side are those who vehemently oppose any form of organ selling. They argue that it exploits the vulnerable and undermines the sanctity of the human body. For them, the idea of selling organs is inherently unethical, as it commodifies human body parts and treats them as mere objects to be bought and sold. They worry that legalizing organ sales would disproportionately affect the poor and marginalized, who may feel pressured to sell their organs out of financial desperation. They argue that it exploits the vulnerable and undermines the sanctity of the human body. They believe that the practice would lead to a society where the wealthy can buy their way out of health problems, while the poor are left to bear the physical and emotional costs. They also raise concerns about the potential for coercion and exploitation, particularly in countries with weak regulatory frameworks. For them, the focus should be on finding ethical and sustainable solutions to the organ shortage, rather than resorting to the sale of human body parts. They believe that the focus should be on improving organ donation rates and finding alternative solutions to the organ shortage. This could include public awareness campaigns to encourage more people to become organ donors, as well as investments in medical research to develop new technologies and treatments. They argue that by addressing the root causes of the organ shortage, we can find solutions that are both ethical and effective. Ultimately, the debate over kidney selling is a complex and deeply emotional issue, with passionate voices on both sides. It raises important questions about ethics, autonomy, and the value of human life. Section 7. Experts weigh in. Medical ethics and beyond. Medical professionals, ethicists, and policymakers are grappling with the complex issues surrounding kidney selling. Some argue that a regulated system with strict safeguards and ethical guidelines could potentially save lives and reduce the harm caused by the black market. Others remain skeptical, arguing that any form of payment for organs creates an ethical, slippery slope and opens the door to exploitation. They advocate for focusing on prevention, education, and increasing organ donation through ethical means. Section 8. The personal cost of a global crisis. The global shortage of organs is a complex issue with no easy answers. While the temptation to sell a kidney for a life-changing sum of money is understandable, it's crucial to consider the potential consequences. The decision to buy or sell a kidney is not one to be taken lightly. It's a decision with far-reaching implications, not just for the individuals involved, but for society as a whole. This isn't just about money, it's about human lives, ethics, and the very essence of what it means to be human. Section 9. Your body, your choice. So, we're back to where we started. Would you sell a kidney for $100,000? It's a question that forces us to confront our values, our beliefs, and the limits of our empathy. There's no right or wrong answer, but there are consequences. The choice is yours, but it's a choice that should be made with a clear understanding of the stakes. Think about it.